There's some culture in like dance and specifically ballet that you can't like waste anything. And there's just so much pressure to do everything specific and right, and it never changes. My name is Sophie. At my first university, I was a dance major, and then because of COVID and like multiple injuries and just the program at the school, I transferred out. While there's literally no speaking or writing in dance, there's something so nice and like beautiful about the way that like a story and everything can be like conveyed through dance. I think most people would think that like dance is objectively pretty, but like there's always something about just like giving up some autonomy to yourself, to the art. And if you didn't do that, you like weren't serious and you weren't worth anyone's time. And I think it's a very old way of thinking.
It's always been such a stress reliever for me. Like when I was in high school and things were getting stressful with thinking about college, thinking about my future, literally none of that would cross my mind when I was dancing. It was just such an in-the-moment thing where you just be so fully present that it was really just like a contrast from the stress of daily life. My name is Catherine. I started dance when I was 3. When I'm enjoying dance, like at its core, like aside from studio politics and stuff like that, I always thought it was just so freeing. Because I think it just kind of tests what we can do, like as people physically. It's kind of just pushing the boundaries on like how high can I jump, how fast can I move, how slow can I move? Like can I balance just a second longer or be just a little bit sharper onto the music? So it's just like really just pushing myself and seeing like what are the limits of what I can do. I think from middle school on, there was a time in my life when I considered going either professional or trying to get a degree in dance. Ultimately, I kind of just decided to pursue something else. But now I did kind of reduce hours in dance pretty significantly. I was dancing around 17 hours a week, but now I'm dancing about 2 to 4 hours a week. So definitely a drastic change there. It is a little bit disappointing that I don't have ballet as consistently in my life as I used to.
Teachers in dance will like hold their power over children in the hopes that they can like win some acclaim for what that child becomes. I always thought that I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be affected like with my body through dance, like it won't happen, but like it did. It 100% did.
I had a teacher who would always say, there's no crying in ballet. Anytime someone got even just like the slightest bit emotional, she would send them out of the room. And she'd be like, I don't want to deal with that. We have a rehearsal to get through. So there wasn't really a lot of space for vulnerability. I think I was always so shy just because of how strict ballet was. Like I always was very withdrawn, like soft-spoken, because in ballet there is very much this idea of like, don't speak unless your teacher is speaking to you.
My teacher, she would consistently be talking about herself and like the way that she ate. And just like her talking about that would always put it in our minds.
I mean, I grew up literally staring at myself in a mirror ever since I was like 3. And I was born with like a stereotypically, I guess, conventional ballet body. And so it wasn't really too much of a problem for me. But even then, it was like there's always someone who is like thinner or like considered like more appropriate for casting because of the way they looked, like that kind of thing. So it's definitely had an impact on me. And I think it had even more significant impact after I stopped dancing so much, just because when things changed, it kind of affected like how I perceive myself.
Like even comments like that, it was very specifically like about my body. It was like, you're 13, but like you have like full hips and you're tall. But like I was the same age as everyone, and I remember very specifically she had picked me for that because she was like, you're the only one who doesn't look like a child. You're not gonna look like a child on stage half naked. But like I was a child, like I was 13. There's something so like weirdly conservative about ballet and dance, even though it's an art and the arts are always seen as something so like open and accepting. The modern idea that we have of ballet with like the main companies and the way that they operate has been going for like 100 years now, and it doesn't feel like it's changed too incredibly much.
I think one thing that I'm at least curious about is how the dance world, or specifically the ballet world, can evolve and improve itself. There's a lot of problems with like these classical Russian ballets that we've been handing down from company to company, from generation to generation. As far as like LGBT plus representation, it seems like it's something that's talked about during times like Pride Month, but it doesn't really go beyond that month.
Especially looking back and like the way that it like very much limited me, and I was afraid all the time they would find out that I was gay and then I just wouldn't be allowed. My best friend, he was allowed in like our changing room. But like I'm almost certain that if anyone found out that I was gay, I wouldn't have been allowed. Because it was like a gay, like a lesbian around a bunch of other girls, but like the gay man, it was fine. There's some kind of double standard in there, and I spent most of, if not all of my dance time in like fear of just being some kind of like ridiculed because there's just no acceptance in the dance world. I had been wanting to restart ballet and dance for a while. I hadn't danced for like 2 years. I had tried and I just couldn't. There was a lot of anxiety about like taking the final step and actually like joining a class.
Ballet was always a constant in my life. It took a lot of my time in high school, so I don't think I had a typical high school experience. And so it was pretty difficult at first in college, not even having any resource for ballet until I found Texas Ballet Club. It's a student organization I found my first year. It's volunteer-led, so we like volunteer to be teachers because there's so many classes in the area with really high prices and we're students.
It's just all other students and all other people who I wouldn't say have had the same experiences, but in the sense like know that dance can really mess you up and have like been through that to some extent. But there's something comforting about like a space where it's people of the same mind as you. We're all in college, they have their own classes, they can't make this 100% their life.
Now I am the president of Texas Ballet Club. It's nice to have a space where you can enjoy dance apart from like the environment that you might have trained in and just kind of enjoy it with other people who also enjoy ballet. I like to think that dance has very much shaped who I am now. You know, constantly trying to pursue something. With dance, there's just such a strive for perfection, which I guess can be both a good and a bad thing, depending on how you look at it.
It made me a lot more disciplined than I would have been otherwise, and there's a discipline to like prep yourself in a way that makes you ready for the class. I understand my body a lot more, but like now I'll know like if something is wrong, I know how to more easily take care of it. There is something very like therapeutic about just like letting your body move. I feel it more now. Like I don't have pressure to be perfect for a performance or like perfect for a professor who's been doing this their whole life. Just letting your body move in a way that it knows how can take your mind off of what's happening.
I feel like I'd tell myself, my younger self, just to not take things so seriously. Like still work hard at dance, keep it up, but don't spend hours in the car crying because you didn't get the part that you wanted. It's a waste of time, and things eventually worked out. I mean, I'd say it's never too late to start. I know that some ballet environments are like, if you don't start at 3, you can't do it, but that's not true. I mean, Misty Copeland started at, what, 13? And she is where she is now. I think it's never too late to start. If you want to do it, just go for it. It's fun.